If so, you want to watch this episode because I'm going to show you and talk with you about how to set yourself up for success with your dissertation in 2024. Thank you for tuning in so much. My name is Dr. Ramon Goings. I'm host of the show From ABD to PhD show and also founder of Done Dissertation, where we help doctoral students write and defend their dissertation in 1 year or less. This episode of From ABD to PhD show is sponsored by the Done Dissertation Velocity Group Coaching Program. It is a coaching experience designed to help doctoral students who are hungry to finish, want to finish quickly, and know that they have something to do with their dissertations once they are done. If that is you, we invite you to apply with us at www.velocitydissertation.com or scan a QR code that you see here on the screen so that we can help you finish your dissertation quickly. Our whole goal is to help at least 1,000 doctoral students get out of the dissertation process. And so we want that to be you. We would love to support and work with you and want to help you all get done. And so, with that said, if you're watching this on LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you're watching this, Twitter, go ahead and share this on your feed or timeline. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like and subscribe button. We're on a mission to at least get 1,000 followers on all of our social media platforms. So, you subscribing, you following us will be extremely helpful to our goal to do that and telling other doctoral students about what we are doing and other professors also, because I know professors sometimes check in on the show as well about what we have going on to help folks get through the process. And so, with that said, I want to talk about how to set yourself up for success in 2024 because 2023 is ending, and a lot of us are thinking and turning our heads to new year, new me, PhD, right? That's your new slogan that you probably got written down at this point, right? And you're trying to figure out, how do I make the best of this coming up year? I want to show you and talk to you about how to do it. And so when we think about how to set yourself up for success in 2024, the first thing that you're going to have to do is reopen, if needed, the lines of communication with your chair and committee. Because what I know is that for many students is that if you've been stuck for a while, sometimes you go ghost on your chair and committee. And what that means is that you don't reach out to them, even if they reach out to you, or you just say, I'm working on it, right? And doc students, y'all famous for doing that. I'm working on it. I'm working on it is like the new, like, I'm ghosting you, really. Because I'm working on it can mean I'm thinking about it in my head, but I haven't written anything. To I'm almost done writing. So that if you're using those type of terms when your chair and committee reaches out, I want you to re-engage them. And so I want to give you the exact strategy, and I want you to implement it today. If you need to, while you're listening to this, have your browser open, get ready to put this together because I'm going to give you the whole strategy. It's no need. You all can do this. Send your chair. I will start with the chair first, depending on your relationship. I will start with the chair and send them an email and say, hey, chair, hope all is well. I just wanted to give you an update as we approach the end of the semester, end of the year, about where I am with my progress. Now, you be very particular and specific about where you are with your progress and be upfront. If you haven't done much, then say that. I haven't done much currently. Or if you're saying I've worked on, or I'm almost finished with chapter such and such, then what I want you to do is say, all right, moving forward, here is my timeline and plan to finish the dissertation process. And then I want you to really think about this. So you might need a little more time, is to map out everything else you need to do for the process. This is for two reasons. One is to show your chair that you are serious. And then two, it's for you. So now when you start writing things out and you make the plan, now it becomes a lot easier. And if you're trying to figure out the best way to approach this, we do have a training available that you can purchase. It's called Design Your Done Dissertation. It's a low-cost training that teaches you how to develop the plan. It actually gives you a workbook, and you can actually use the workbook and then give the workbook to your chair to actually outline what your process might look like as you proceed forward through the process. So if that's of interest to you, you can scan the QR code that's on the screen, or you can go to www.designyourdissertation.com. And again, it's www.designyourdissertation.com. And you can get access to that training immediately. And so that's for folks, if you feel like you need a more tangible guide on how to put that plan together, our training, Design Your Done Dissertation, would be the way to do that. And so when we're thinking about this again, you got to start re-engaging your committee, because for some of us, you spent, months, years working with these people, and then you just went quiet and ghosted them. No more ghosting. It's time to be upfront, take accountability and responsibility for your process, and reach out to them. And the same thing goes with the committee. Just send them an email about where you are. They don't need as much detail, but you might give them a roadmap about where you are, and then when you plan to give them a document. Because that really, as a committee member, that's what I care about most, is like, when do you plan to have this done? So I have it on my docket about when I should expect your dissertation to come across my my inbox. So when we get from there, right, when we think about that, that's one way I want you to think about setting yourself up for success in 2024. The second way you're going to set yourself up for success in 2024 is that I want you to start talking with your family or friends and really being honest with them about you maybe have to being a little more selfish for the next couple of months so you can finish. Because there's something I know about a lot of doctoral students, you don't get to this level because you aren't brilliant, right? And when you're brilliant like you are, there are a lot of folks that come after you and compete, take compete for your time, family, friends, work, the dissertation committee, all these things, right? And for many of y'all, you always get these new jobs when you're writing your dissertation because y'all just a dynamic like that, right? You're just one of those people. And so because of that, and we know that's the case for many of our clients that work with us are busy professionals, you are going to have to be selfish with your time. And so, what I think will set you up for success in 2024 is that if you start to have these conversations more often with your family and friends about what you need from them. I just remember one of our clients, she knows who she is, like, was just talking about one of the things she needed from her spouse, which was great, is that the spouse took the kids for a couple of hours on Saturdays so that she worked best out of the library. And so she would go to the library and do her work. And so, having something like that, having those conversations is really important so that you get your needs met and then still are able to do all the other things you need to do for your family, because we don't want to let those things go, but we just want to have some type of integration. I know people talk about work-life balance, but it's more like work-life dissertation integration. That's more realistic because of all the things that you have to do as a part of this process. So as you're thinking about this and you're trying to set yourself up, start having those conversations with the friends and family now. Again, if you feel like you don't have a way to approach that conversation, we talk about that in the training I mentioned, design your dissertation. I'll bring it back up. So if you missed the first part of this conversation, you can catch it here. Is that we talk about building out a plan, and building out part of your plan is talking with your family about the things that you might need. And as part of the training, you'll see there's a part where we have you map out all the barriers and your solutions. We have a certain way to do it. And so if you use that, that might be a way to start the conversation with your family about and friends on, getting the support that you need to finish your dissertation. And so if you need that plan, you know have a way to approach that conversation, you can scan the QR code here or go to www.designyourdissertation.com to grab the training. And again, these are really important things I want us to start thinking about early and often before we need them. And this will set you up for success in 2024. And then the third component I want you to really start considering if you want to be successful in 2024 is that I want you to, it's going to sound crazy. You probably have a chapter or article, if you're doing like a 3-article dissertation, that has been sitting on your desk probably for weeks now. I want you to submit it to your chair for feedback, especially if it's in a pretty decent shape. Submit it to your chair. Because I know for a lot of y'all, you're going to hold on to these documents for months because you don't think it's 100%. But I promise you, in the book I wrote, 14 Secrets to a Done Dissertation. If you don't have this book, cop this book. It's quick. You can read through it in one sitting. In the book, I have a chapter that talks about the 80% rule. I want you to grab the book so you can hear more about the 80% rule. You can scan the QR code here again for folks who are doing this. Again, low cost book, but it's something that I think will be really helpful about the 80% rule. I promise you, if you master what I talk about, the 80% rule in the book, you will recognize how important it is to submit your chapter now to your chair for review. There's no need to hold on to this thing because I promise you, each and every time that your chair and committee will always have something to say about your work. I'll say it again. Your chair and committee will always have something to say about your work. So there's no need to hold on to that chapter because it's not going to be perfect. They're going to have something to give you some critiques, and not even critiques, maybe just feedback. And I know a lot of us go into this process thinking that, oh, every time I submit something, it's going to get carved up. There are times I had my own students who have submitted stuff, and I'm like, shoot, this thing is flawless. I got nothing to add to it. Like I'm just impressed. And so you have to really consider, that you might be submitting something and holding on to something for so long that is actually in great shape to submit, but because you got stuck in your head and you've gotten all in this kind of mindset issues around like my work not being perfect, you don't submit it. But I promise you, once you master the 80% rule, you'll recognize how important it is for you to submit that chapter, that article, whatever it is you need to submit to your chair or committee for review. So I hope that frees a lot of you all up who need that support. And if you find like, hey, I need that, but I want someone to actually look at my work before it gets to my chair, then that's where we come in our velocity coaching program to provide that support that you might need to finish your dissertation. And so With that, our sponsor from this episode is our Velocity Group Coaching Program, and it's the goal to help you write and defend your dissertation within the next year. So if you're looking to finish in 2024, you're ready to be done. I invite you to apply to work with us at www.velocitydissertation.com. You can learn more about the program and see if it's a good fit for you. And so we want folks who are ready and committed to doing the work, who are know that they have something to offer with their dissertations, but just need the strategy and guide and support and feedback on their work in order to get through the process successfully. And so this is really important to consider if you've been stuck for a while and you just don't see where the end line is. We can help you do that because that's our job as your guide on the side. And so in this episode from ABD to PhD show, we've been talking about how to set yourself up for success with your dissertation in 2024. And so the last point I want to make for today's episode, again, this is a quick one because I wanted to give you some quick actionable strategies, things that you can just implement and think through right now that you can do immediately. The last one is something that you're going to just have to do and be mindful of, is that I want you to give yourself some grace from 2023 of what has happened as part of your journey so far. Look, it's the end of the year. You might be like, oh my God, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. And you start off the new year like, oh, I got all these plans for 2023, and recognize that you haven't hit where you plan to be today. It's just part of the journey. Like, look, things happen. And I always just say, I take myself as a case, as an example. I wrote my dissertation from August 2014. I was done with everything March 2015. I got approved by my committee in April 2015. And in May of 2015, the department chair in my program, who was the last kind of gatekeeper, if you will, and checked off on my dissertation, said, oh, Ramon, I like it, but it's not quite ready for a defense yet. And because it was so late in the semester, my faculty members left for the summer, and I literally didn't defend until October of 2015. I had to wait 5 months for a defense just because of that experience. So I know what it's like to not be where you wanted to go in a certain period of time. Because I had in my mind, my goal was to defend my dissertation and graduate in May of 2015. When I ended up defending in October 2015, and I graduated in December of 2015. And so it just is what it is. It's part of the journey. It's part of the process. We all go through it. I'm no different. It's just what happens to us. And so you just have to give yourself some grace. And I had to figure it out and give myself some grace. And literally, that wait time actually was a benefit to me. I was able to then write for my dissertation over the next 5 months. And so by the time I finished my dissertation, I had one article published. And then by the time I graduated in December, I had 3 articles published and 9 under review. So by the time I'm on the faculty job market, I was ready to go. And so my first year as faculty, I had about 20 publications, between book chapters and journal articles alone, because I was able to set myself up for success from that wait time of not being able to defend my dissertation. So sometimes you have to just be mindful. What do you do during that wait time? And just give yourself some grace. Like, things happen. We have life. You have families. We are all trying to balance it all, right? Your chair might have been sick. You might have been sick. Other things have popped up. You might need to take a leave. Some of my clients are having little, children as of late, and so they've had to pause a little bit on their dissertation so they can start, their family and support their, little infants. And so all those things are important. It happens. So I want you to give yourself some grace if you have not hit the mark where you had intended to. But here's the trick, and what I want you to implement now. Give yourself grace, but get back to work. Because some of you all have been stuck for a while, and you might say, I give myself the grace, and then you're like, oh, I'll just start in 2024, and then you start pushing it off. No, it's December. Go ahead right now and start working on your dissertation. There's no need, if you know you're going to finish in 2024, start the work now. Give yourself grace for what you haven't been able to do, and now let that go and leave that behind. Now's the time to pick up the work and continue to make progress. That is the difference between those who finish and those who do not. Recently, I was doing a workshop for the University of Arkansas for Medical Sciences. And so during our talk, they were doing a resiliency series. So I was one of the speakers for their resiliency series. I did a seminar on doctoral resiliency. And Dr. Tremaine Williams, who was a professor there, he mentioned something about resiliency and how he was defining it. And I love the definition. And he was just saying, you know what? Resiliency is essentially coming back tomorrow based on what, even though it's something bad or something has happened the day before. And literally what I've learned from how you define it, and then what I've seen as a part of this journey, those who finish give themselves the grace, but then continue to work and come back tomorrow. If you show up for each day, you come back the next day, and you come back the next day, and you do a little bit of work of each day, before you know it, your time will come where this will be done. And literally, unless you are one of those wild folks, and y'all out there that want to get another doctorate, you do this one time, you get your degree, and you are done. Now you can check this box off. You can put this away, and now you can do all the things you wanted to do when you first thought about getting into a doctoral program. And so this is something I really want you all to consider and think through. And so give yourself some grace. But if you are a student and you're like, I really need the structure and support, and I know I may not be able to finish this all myself, and I might need that guide to help push me the rest of the way. This is where we are of support to you. So we would invite you to apply to our Velocity Group Coaching Program at www.velocitydissertation.com. We are looking to help folks finish in 2024 and get through this process successfully. In a future episode, I'm going to share some of our folks who have successfully defended their dissertations this year, so you can see all the doctors we have been able to produce who have come out of our program. And I promise you, as our program is pretty dope, like we have more doctoral students coming out of our program than many doctoral programs have. And so I'm just saying, it just is what it is. It's like a flex on us because we have created a system, we created an environment where students can come in, get the support, get the insights, get the strategy feedback, and then are able to then rapidly finish their dissertation. And so if you're looking to do that, we invite you to apply to work with us. www.velocitydissertation.com. And we want folks who are willing to invest in themselves. Like, look, we're literally trying to transform your life. That is not something that comes at a low cost. It's just being upfront honest, because we are experts in this area. This is what we do all day, every day, and we have a proven model and system. And so we want to help support you. So we want to help folks who are willing to help themselves. And part of that is the investment of your time to get this thing done, but also a monetary investment, because it takes that to support the work that we're doing to help you. So if you're looking for that type of support, but you're willing to invest because you know that you'll easily recoup your investment once you have earned your doctorate because of all the income generating opportunities that you will have, we invite you to apply with us at www.velocitydissertation.com. And with that said, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of From ABD to PhD Show. I'm your host, Dr. Ramon Goings. And until next week, let's go ahead and get these dissertations done so you can transform the organizations, communities, and people you care most about. And so I look forward to seeing you all soon and talk with you all, and have a great, great week, and happy